roles and responsibilities, and how to be sustainable. Lambi race ka ghoda, as they call it. So spiritual life is like a long haul. It's not a short thing. So we have to sustain the pressures, the temptations, the obstacles, the unfavorable situations, and continue. Like Bhishma Dev or Hanuman, sustainability. So yesterday we did some exercises which will help us organize our lifestyle in such a manner that the major roles and major activities in our life are always taken care of. So that was yesterday, balance and sustainability. Now today we will focus in a leader's dealings with people. How should a leader deal with people around him? So there is FES. What is F? Focus on people's needs, interests and concerns. E for empowerment and teamwork. A part of that is also delegation. And S for systematic training and education. So let's try and see how this can be done. We would like to begin by page 82, cooperation and teamwork. Have you heard this statement ever? None of us is as smart as all of us. You heard this? None of us is as smart as all of us. Which means when you put few devotees together in a particular forum to serve, then their cooperative unity, their knowledge base, their skill base, their talent base exceeds an individual's performance, always. And that's why the second slogan is we are better together. Although we may have strong inclination even in spiritual organizations to be an individual performer, there are some advantages to that. What are the advantages of being a lone performer? Yes? No friction with others, no jhamela, no sorting out anybody's mind and feelings and all the clutter. Yes. Fast decision making, quick, what is to be done, just decide and do it. Don't waste time. What else? Yes. You can do as you wish. Often there will be no one else to check you and put tabs on you. So we also get our whimsical mind satisfied little bit sometimes. What else is the advantage? Why people would like to be individual performance? When the success comes, everybody knows who is the sole owner of the credit. So let's not divide and share or anything. So we always have this kind of desires internally. शिकार करेगा तो अकेला करेगा, शेर के जैसा. And this is one of the major problems even in our society, that many times our devotees are independent lions roaring in independent jungles. And they never come together to share their wisdom, their resources, their activities. And then what happens? Everybody is doing everything from scratch. For example, I was telling the day before that now despite 50 years of ISKCON, we don't yet have an educational system for our own devotee children in place. It's not that there are not good devotee educationists. It is not that ISKCON lacks what to do about education. Prabhupada has given enough in his books how to train children. Then what is lacking? To bring all these variegated devotees together and to do a team building so that their wisdom, their resources and their activities can be shared. So we need to share with each other, we need to care for each other, and then we need to offer together to Krishna our services. The more we develop this mentality of sharing, caring, and offering, we will become very dear to Krishna. I would like you to recite this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam after me. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Varam Vrunidvam Bhadram Vo Yuyam Me Nrupanandanaha Sauhardena Pruthak Dharmaha Tushtoham Sahrudena Va. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said to the sons of King Prachina Barhishat, my dear sons of the king, I am very much pleased by the friendly relationships among you. All of you are engaged in one occupation, devotional service. I am so pleased with your mutual friendship that I wish you all good fortune. Now you may ask a benediction of me. So what pleases the Lord? When devotees do service together, that pleases the Lord. One devotee was mentioning, Krishna will not like to step on a single blade of grass that is standing erect in the middle of a pasturing field. But Krishna would rather step his lotus feet on bunch of grasses which are soft and pliable and are together, and thus imprint his mercy on them. Similarly, we are like a single blade of grass standing with no one else as our companion or competitor to prove that I am the best. Krishna will not be impressed. But if we are part of a community of devotees, today only we heard Vaishnava is like a salt. He keeps himself invisible, yet gives relish. So we become part of such a community where we come, do our small role and go back into the background. Then Krishna becomes very pleased with such a community, and in such association of devotees he manifests himself. So we are better together. Although Kali Yuga may provide us ample reasons why we would like to be lone performers, we have to convince ourselves back again and again that by staying together and cooperating with other devotees, we will please Guru and Krishna. And we need to share, care and offer together. Now, page 82 reads as follows. So someone can please read the first paragraph.
Groups and fundamental units of organization. From the beginning of time, people have formed groups. Groups provide the basis for family living, protection, waging war, government, recreation and work. Group behavior has ranged from total chaos to dramatic success, but it is increasingly evident that groups enjoy their greatest success when they become more productive units called teams. Managers in many organizations seem content with group performance. This is often because they have not thought beyond what is being accomplished to what might be achieved under slightly different circumstances. Other leaders, using the same number of people doing similar tasks with the same technology, somehow manage to improve productivity dramatically by establishing a climate where people are willing to give their best and work together in teams.
So how many of you in your temple work in groups? And how many of you work in teams? What is the difference? So on the next page, group or team, there are some pointers given. In group, members think of themselves. In team, They think as a unit of their common goal. So, in your temple there are groups or teams? In a group, members think of their own interest and they meet only for administration. Teams recognize interdependence and have mutual accountability, even for items of sadhana, even for items of sadachara, not just seva. Teams come together. Group members work independently, sometimes against each other. The team members understand that team and individual goals are better accomplished by mutual support. Recently, I came across this interesting statistics. Maybe I would just write it as it is. There was a survey conducted. Don't write that, it is nothing to be written. Just listen. There was a survey conducted in some of the big corporations and companies as to how many people who are working in that company have a proper understanding of the work culture, the goals, the team members and their particular job description. So here is the statistics. %37% people in the organization are clear about what is the goal of that organization and why. This certainly happened with us also, right? Till we came across the 7 purposes. So 37% people only, roughly, in an organization clearly know what is the goal of that organization and why. Why is that good? 20% people in that organization are enthusiastic about it. Because only 37% know, so certainly little less than that will be enthusiastic about what is to be done. 20% people have clear understanding between the goal and my job description now. 50% people were satisfied with quantity of the work they had per week. Means 50% were not satisfied. 15% felt organization enables them to execute the key goals, like this iLeads program. 15% feel organization has got high trust environment. 17% feel that organization fosters open communication and they respect difference of opinions. Only 10% people felt that the organization holds people accountable for results. 20% people felt that they fully trust their organization. And finally, 13% felt that there is a high trust and high cooperation with other groups and other teams or departments within their organization. Now, the statistics may sound a little difficult to grasp, so I'll put it very simply. Imagine if there is a football match and then there are 11 players on either sides, and if this statistics continues in that team, then what is going to happen is only 4 people out of those 11 know which is their goal. मतलब बॉल को किधर ढकेलना है वो 4 लोगों को ही पता है 11 में से, and 2 people care about it, that I have to put the ball into the goal, and 2 people exactly know which position to stand and how to play on the field. Only 2 people out of 11 know, and then 9 people within that team are competing against each other in some way or other. Out of 11, 9 people are competing against each other rather than competing with their opponent. Now you imagine if such a soccer team you form and send it for world championship. You will create a wonderful joke on the world screen. People will laugh at us. So in the same manner, if this statistic prevails in ISKCON, this is not ISKCON statistics by the way, it is an outside organization statistics, but it's a generic statistics. That this is how the situation is usually in organizations. And that's why Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, organization is a necessary evil. So why do we need organization? To maximize our impact, to support, protect, shelter large number of people systematically, equip and engage also. So one devotee gives this example: if you take a bullet of a gun in hand and tell another person, hands up, maro, hands up, surrender, that person will say, come on, you can do that, no problem. But you put the same bullet inside a pistol, a revolver, and then tell him, hands up. Immediately he becomes aware, yeah, I can die. Why? Similarly, we have the greatest of all transformational agent, the holy name of Krishna. But when we alone go singularly to offer the holy name of Krishna to the conditioned souls of this world, we have that experience sometimes. People don't take us seriously. They tell us, hey, taklu, shendi, chal put. So we feel, what is this? I am going and giving the greatest welfare activity to the whole world. Nobody listens to me. But the same thing you do as ISKCON. You have a Ratha Yatra, or you conduct some mega event, and then you call the whole, like they had in Calcutta, the Jaladuta. What a festival! What an impact! So many politicians are sending appreciation letters. They are sending their videos if they couldn't come. They are personally coming and participating. They are getting a forum, that I am also part of this great event. I am also a respectable gentleman now, in the world. So it's reverse now, right? Why? Because we are going out as a organization. We are together. ISKCON, iske jaisa kaun. So then people feel, wow, these people are doing something wonderful. So in order to make this happen, we need organization. But then there is another side of it, which we just now discussed. We need to figure out how the statistics shall not be the statistics of ISKCON. And programs like iLeads, and now that you have got trained, when you go back to your temples, you have to make sure that every one of your important members has clear understanding of the 7 purposes, why they exist, what is his job description, how it relates to that goal. Create a high trust, high cooperation environment, and nobody is competing against each other, but they are supportive of each other's causes. No interdepartmental rivalries. So we have to create that kind of cultural engineering when we go back in our temples. So leadership begins with one person at a time, starting with oneself, and then gradually becomes a part of the culture. So going back again, this understanding of group and team is very vital. So please take a minute to completely read the rest of the sub-points, bullet points, and if there is anything you did not understand, please ask. Any questions?
Group, there may be people like they are thinking as a unit, and in team maybe some people they are selfish or like that, fighting others. So exact what is the is it possible or not? This definition is as per the motives or as per the group? Exactly. Why? I mean, how will we segregate this?
In a group, there are selfish interests. In a team, there are no selfish interests. So what you are calling as team is actually a group. This is a TEAM, no? Together everyone achieves more. So the understanding is one is too small a number to achieve greatness. So if we are really convinced about this, that alone I can do only X amount, but in a team, if put together, we all can do wonderful things. So here is some 4 major reasons why people don't join in a team. First one is ego. They always think in terms of me and not we. So we have to reverse that thinking. We have to tell ourselves, you are good, but you are not that good. You understand? You are good, but you are not that good. It would be nice if you combine with other people and do things together. Another is insecurity. It would be nice if you use all the brains we have and we can borrow. And we don't need to feel threatened by other people. Fear of losing control or being replaced by somebody. And sometimes we are too naive. We underestimate the task that is lying ahead of us. हमको लगता है 7 purpose इतना अकेला कर दूंगा मैं. And the 4th is temperament. Some of us are actually having a temperament where we introvert, or we don't think only of involving others into the things that we do. So therefore, be careful. So ask yourself this question, which of these 4 problems do I have? मेरा problem ego है, insecurity है, naivety है या temperament है? And try and overcome that in your life. So I hope that helps. And this training you have to give to all those people in the group that you have. Then they will become a team eventually. A lot depends on training. We should not assume that people are like the way they are because they are by birth gone case. तुम्हारा कुछ नहीं हो सकता है. But usually we should think that because people are never given right association, they are never given good training, they become like this. Any other question? Yes.
Like if you can explain, like if we have some devotees, so what features will be there, we'll call it a group, and what characteristics will be there, we'll call it a team. Like some individuals are there, so how do we differentiate? Like
first thing is clear goals. Group usually just being ecstatic in doing things together, which they are not having exactly like a goal or anything. Like sometimes in a temple we have devotees, they come together, they have good morning program, singing, dancing. But there is no specific goals that they decide for when we are coming together, what our temple would like to achieve as a one unit. हमारे accomplishments क्या हैं? That they don't have clearly defined. That's a group. But team is not like that. In this 1 year, we are going to have 1 Rath Yatra, 6 major festivals, 21 time programs through which we are going to enroll 2,000 people, of which we are going to cultivate about 400 people in this 1 year. As a team, I am talking together of 20 preachers. And we are going to bring about 100 initiated devotees in 1 year. So this is like we are actually talking in terms of goals. So they have something like this in the back of their mind. You will be shocked to know how callous we are about this kind of things and how other organizations are actually far ahead of ISKCON. I think Kaunteya Pro must have told this to you in the Congregation Development Ministry, how the Christians, Seventh-day Adventists, they have a strategy that if you are not proselytizing or going and meeting door to door, 50 members in 1 month, you are out. You are no more a Seventh-day Adventist. You are a well-wisher, but you are not a member. Can you imagine an organization like this? बोले 1 महीने में तुमने 50 लोग को जाके नहीं मिला जीसस का मैसेज बताने के लिए. You are out. Now, of course, we are not going to do that in ISKCON. But the point is, we really don't have goals. We are just happy, that there are deities and we are there, and we have nice prasad, and things are happening. You know, sometimes some festival comes, and some people also come, and some people go out also. So things are going on. You know, so that is a difference, major difference. The second major difference is that in group there is no unity in diversity. They don't harness the diversity of that group. Different people are talented and knowledgeable in different things, but they never make a systematic effort to put it all together to do something good. You know, there was one small girl, 4-year-old. She had a habit. She would like to solve jigsaw puzzles, and I was the teacher of their parents, family. So every time I go for a class, she would come and she would have a new jigsaw puzzle, and she would test me. So that, you know, the Bhima puzzle and the Chota Bheem and whatever this, and she would put it all in front of me. And what she will do, one of the jigsaw puzzle main picture she will put in her pocket, and then give all the rest of the things to me. And I am really figuring out, you know, where this puts where, because even one thing missing like that makes a big difference in your thinking process. And I would be, you know, really trying hard, you know, to do this, and then she would go smile. Well, how this fellow, you know, he preaches to so many and he doesn't do such a simple thing that I do. You know, that kind of. Then she would slowly release that and put it, you know, somewhere in the center, and then show me, see how it is. This is how you have to do. And I said, hey, this is cheating. You didn't release that piece in the beginning. So in the same manner, the jigsaw puzzle is a good analogy for how different diversity of talents and knowledgeable people can join together to form a complete picture of our wonderful temple organization. But we ourselves have a missing identity. You know, we really don't know what I meant for in this community. Then what are we going to tell others that they should do? So we lack self-realization, and thus we can't award anybody anything of their job description. So these two things go hand in hand. We have to really work at this, self-realization. Then we get to know others' swabhava and vritti also very quickly. So that is the second difference between a team and a group. And the third difference is that in a team, two things are in place. Decision-making process, how it happens, and conflict resolution, how it happens, is already put in place. In a group, it is not like that. There is no such a system in place. Everybody is allowed to say everything that they want. And at the end, no conclusion. So, in a team, it doesn't happen like this. So, I hope that clarifies to some extent. So, I hope by the end of this discussion, you are all excited about going back and building teams in the groups that you already have. And try figure out how this can be done better. Yes.
Bro, but what about the that devotees, those who are practicing 30 years, and
They
they
don't
say
allow
that-
us to do anything.
No, it's not like that. But they think that they will not understand or they will not follow those newcomers. So in that case, what is our stand?
Two things can be done. One is we can talk to their spiritual master and tell them to attend IELTS program. Make it compulsory for them. और तुमको जाना पड़ेगा, पैसा भर दियो तुम्हारा वाला, जाओ. So that at least people start developing some understanding, where am I going wrong? Even before I attended this course, I used to think I'm a wonderful manager, I'm a wonderful organizer. And after attending course, I started thinking, my God, किधर कितना तोड़-फोड़ किया मैंने. You know, in the name of service, what all damage I have caused. So what is happening typically is people are doing something and they are calling it as management. And the others who are doing something and they are calling it as teaching. I'm teaching. So we have to first train them. Here teaching looks like this, management looks like that. And then they say, yeah, now I got it. This is how I will also do. So that's one part of the story. Second is, we have to try and create islands of excellences in ocean of mediocrity. Which means within the domain of influence that we are allowed, we have to create wonderful devotee culture and service contribution. And let that speak for itself. We don't have to go on telling others that I am superior to you or you should take inspiration or inputs from me. We just do whatever is given to us very nicely within that area of influence. And then when wonderful results come, then the whole world comes and says, oh, they are doing nice, let us learn from them. And there are many examples of this in our own ISKCON. So, certain devotees started certain projects and they handle the devotees in their communities in a different way than how typically ISKCON would handle. And over a period of time they had a wonderful success. And then now the whole devotee community goes to them and asks, how do you do this? How do you do devotee care? How do you do engagement or devotees projects? Like that. Any other? Okay. So the earlier I was talking about you should try and do service that you are really good at, but it takes 15 years for you to know what is your real psychophysical nature till the dirt gets little cleaned. So we should, once we get to know this, that let's say I am more meant to be like a teacher or administrator or resource maker or a can-do person, you know. Anybody tells me something to do, I do it. I don't understand other things. So we accordingly should situate ourselves in our temples and not unnecessarily envy others for their position. The slogan for that is, the goal is more important than the role. What role I play is not so important. The goal of our team together is very important. So sometimes to achieve that goal, I may have to do service of Jhadu Pocha. Another time I have to do service of giving class on Vyasasan. Another time I have to do book distribution or fundraising or whatever. And we should always speak respectfully of other devotees who do other services. You know, wo to kya, wo fundraising karta hai. So, are, what do you mean? And I give you lectures on Vyasasan. This is not the way we should talk. If you are to really build a team, we should learn how to respect every devotee and their contribution in our community. Criticize less, argue less, listen more. You will be a good team builder. So there are some tips on team building on page 86. Take 2-3 minutes time to go through it and then ask if there is any question. Any questions? Yes, Prabhu.
Oh, this connected to that. 15, you said this takes about 15 years, but as a leader,
15 is
approximately, yeah. So the question was, when you have to delegate and you have areas how they can contribute, doesn't it become a challenge? Like for example, Prabhupada, during Prabhupada's time also, there was one who was a music director and one who was an art director. And they were given emergency responsibilities which continued for a couple of years, and then they quit the movement. And Prabhupada said, emergency duties should not go on indefinitely. So as a leader, how do we handle this situation?
Yeah, usually people who come from a certain type of a background where they have shown their skill, we should consider that right in the beginning itself, not that we wait for 15 years. But what I meant by for ourselves to really understand our, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, whatever that Swadharma, it takes some time. What we earlier used to do in a skilled way, for example, say before coming to ashram, I was skilled in car design. And now I wonder, why did I do that in first place? It may have some logic, mathematical abilities or whatever, but that was not ever my actual nature. Now I realize I'm better situated when I'm doing teaching, one-on-one counseling, and I do management or administration for effective teaching or education of devotees. So this comes later, and that time I had no clue of that this is how it is. So in general, we should make smooth transition for those who are around us from the existing skill set and contribution to the actual Varnashrama skill set and contribution. We should try and make it smooth for them. Yes. Delegate authority means what? I'm going to do that after 12:15. I'll answer this question. Any other? If you know questions, go to the next page. Benefits of team building के बाद attitudes of an effective team builder. Page 85. Any questions? So I would like to draw your attention to this little thing that I have written here on the board. If you carefully observe how Lord Vishnu has arranged around himself, he is the best leader, right? From whom you can learn how to do empowerment, delegation, and how to do team building and systems and structures and all these things that we are talking about. He is our role model. So we typically see that Lord Vishnu says that I am Bijam Nidhanam, He gives the vision and the seed of the creation to Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma, in the beginning, he does a little hard work at creating through his Manasa Putras and other situations. But over a period of time, once the creation is settled, Brahma is not as such directly involved in hands-on management. The affairs are delegated to Indra, who is the kind of a general manager. And under him there are 33 crore devatas. And they are taking care of the illumination and the watering and the energy resources, etc. management. In the same manner, in our ISKCON, Prabhupada has created a situation where our GBCs are like, our temples GBCs, they are like the, and then we have our temple presidents, TP, VP, and then we have our, whatever you call it, temple commander or managers, temple managers. In our temple we have COM, Council of Management. So Lord Brahma is coming, Priyavrat has gone, taken renunciation, he needs to get married. And Narad Muni has given him strong dose of renunciation, so he's totally unwilling to get married. But how will the whole, universe benefit? So then Brahma comes down on his swan carrier and goes and gives counseling, to Priyavrat. He says, you should get married. That will be for the good of the world. Or Brahma comes when, there are serious counseling issues going on in the universe. Daksha Prajapati, Lord Shiva has got a big tussle going on. So, and sometimes if he can't also handle, then Lord Vishnu comes in picture. Like Indra and Pruthu, their issue. So even Brahma gave Indra. He said, yeah, manager is like too off in his behavior as a Vaishnava. I can't rectify. And then what happens? Vishnu, he comes. He takes care. Then everybody behaves according to their protocol. So that's an interesting vision you can get about our ISKCON life and how it is quite well organized according to the plan of the Lord. And we should also know which role am I playing exactly. So if you are in the COM and you are trying to do the earlier things for the larger devotee community without the permission, sanction, blessings of your superiors, you will actually cause disturbance. And same way, if you are already a TP or a VP, and instead of dealing with people's hearts in your community, you are too much dealing with all the nitty-gritties of day-to-day management, then also I think there is some need of delegation there. things that are routine can be delegated, so that you are a little more free to do subtler type of service. And this is not a mandate, this is not a GBC law, this is just a theoretical and shastric viewpoint of looking at our various services that we do within ISKCON. Is that clear? Thank you very much.